Let's begin the book, people. It's an excellent book. It takes place during World War II in London. But then the 4 kids, Lucy, Edmund, Susan, and Peter, pictured here, enter the world of Narnia. So you'll experience that today. But before we start reading, let's check out the vocab. So go ahead and open your notebooks and jot this stuff down in the vocab section of your notebooks. If you don't have your notebook at home, write it on some other paper. Because it's instead of typing it, because you've been doing so much typing lately, I really would like you to handwrite it, because that actually helps you remember. The act of handwriting is like part of studying, and then you'll have to study less later. So here it is. Go ahead and write down Chapter 1. Here are some vocab words. Write these down in the vocab section of your notebook. Air raids. Those are attacks by aircraft, especially on non-military targets. So the 4 kids in this book are sent by their parents away from London because it's a lot more dangerous in London. They're sent to the countryside to this professor's house. It's this big, beautiful house, and that is where their adventures start. They're sent over there because there are no air raids out in the countryside. Go ahead and pause this while you write it down. Next, bluebottle. It's a type of insect with a blue body. It looks like this. Inquisitive. It means you're eager for knowledge or curious. Remember, if you already know what inquisitive means, you don't have to write it down. Only write down the words that you don't know, because it'll help you study. A looking glass is a mirror. Mothballs. Those are small styrofoam-like balls containing chemicals to keep moths away from clothing in storage. So they look like this, and they protect your clothes from this. So mothballs are actually toxic, and they kill moth larvae, baby moths. I was reading, though, that because they're so toxic, it's actually better to just use other herbs or to stow your clothing in airtight containers. That's actually more effective. Fun fact. Next, muffler. Now, apparently it's a scarf worn around the neck for warmth. I've literally never used this word as scarf, but here's a picture from the new movie. There's a BBC version, and it's great. It's actually longer. And then there's a new movie that we'll watch after we're done reading the book. So here's Lucy, and here's Mr. Tumnus. He's a fawn, so he's like half man, half deer, and that's his muffler, his scarf. But this is actually what I would call a muffler, a device on the bottom of a car making the engine quieter. If you hear a loud car driving by, you say, "Get a muffler." Okay, a parcel is a package, like that you get in the mail or that you're carrying or whatever. A row, it's a disturbance or quarrel, like there was a row next door, but it's also spelled like row, as in row a boat. Wardrobe, it's a large cabinet-like piece of furniture that serves as a closet for storing clothing. Wireless is, in this case, you can have several wireless, you could be like, that's a wireless phone, but in this case, in the 1940s, it would have been a radio without wires or cords. All right, now here are 3 expressions. Please also write these down in your vocab section. Fallen on our feet. We have gotten lucky. So the character Peter says this. We've really fallen on our feet by ending up at this cool old house with this nice professor. We've kind of escaped the chaos in London, and the professor's nice. Come off it. Stop acting or talking that way. Like, knock it off. Come off it. 10 to 1 means it's very likely. It's 10 to 1 that we have school tomorrow. Very likely. All right, take a moment to study. Just briefly, the more often you study, the better you will remember these various words and expressions. And when we have vocab quizzes, it won't be like last semester, where it was a translation from English to Swedish, Swedish to English. It'll be used only in context, English to English in context. But you shall see. It won't be too hard. So study for a sec, and we'll get back to the rest of the lesson. So your next attendance part, or actually before attendance part two, go ahead and check out the trailer. Like I said, we will watch this film after we're done reading the book. It's just a couple minutes. It's a pretty good film. But the book is better. All right, attendance part 2 will be to read chapter 1. Then, when you're done with that, you're going to do attendance part 3, which is to do the comprehension questions. There aren't too many questions, and many of you will probably finish early. So, if you've written down the vocab, studied a little bit, then read chapter 1 in attendance part 2, then finish the comprehension cues, please go outside. And you don't have any homework unless you didn't finish anything during the hour. Good luck, people. Email me or call me or text me if you have any questions. Bye.